Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob. Okay, wrist pain. You know, it's one of those things that you're probably going to have wrist pain sooner or later, whether you're an active person and overuse your wrists or just as the aging process goes along. And the reason is we're going to look right away to Sam. Sam, I am. He's our skeleton. But we look at the anatomy of the wrist, and you'll see there's a lot of little bones. There's 8 of them, actually. I'm not going to go through all the names of them, but they're there, and they're all there for a good reason. They all have joint surfaces on them. They have cartilage, and they're synovial fluid, and they allow the wrist to flex, to extend, to ulnar deviate, radial deviate, and make circles. It's a complicated joint. It really does a lot of motion.
It does. It's got to be stable, but yet it has to move too. So that's always a tricky proposition.
Right. So the first one, now these are relatively simple. We've got some tricky ones at the end that are going to be some nice pearls, if you will, to get you going. But just simply extend the wrist and flex it. And just work it back and forth. And start out slow. If it's tight one direction, go, say it hurts and it's tight this way, don't push it. Just kind of work into it back and forth. And after about 10 repetitions, it starts to loosen up. Then you can give it a little overpressure each time.
As long as it doesn't increase your pain.
Right. If you do it each time when the pain gets better, clearly improves, then you can go a little bit, but use good judgment.
Some people will do it off the edge of a table.
Sure. Yeah.
So you can support the forearm.
Right.
And yeah, kind of a little pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off. I heard one instructor say, don't enter the pain cave.
Oh,
stay out of the pain cave.
That's a good way to think about it. You know, along with wrist, if you got wrists, your fingers are probably a little tight. You may want to work that. I know personally, in my experience, that's what I need to do. But then the next thing you want to do is circles.
Sure.
Not a tight fist, but a loose fist. And you could do it straight or with a fist, whatever works better. And go clockwise. Start out small, and as it feels better, work bigger and bigger. Make sure you go both directions. You know, 10, 15.
I always like that one, Brad, that you'd show people is you put your fist like this and then you twist out like that.
Sure. And that's actually a good stretch for your
forearm.
Yeah.
Right. I just always like that one. It just feels really
good. Yeah, that's
a
nice option. Yeah, we always like to give people a little more than we say. Now, this next one is one I like personally, but it's the decompression or traction.
Sure.
So all these joints, particularly if you're doing a lot of pushing, you want to decompress them, pull them apart, let that synovial fluid be able to get into those joint crevasses, if you will. So just relax. This is a hand I'm going to do the traction on, or the decompression, relax it. This hand's going to grab around the back of the hand, and then I'm going to support the weight of my elbow on my thigh here. You could do this on a table. You probably want to have a towel there so it's comfortable. Here, as a matter of fact, I'm going to use this. Oh yeah, that helps a little bit. And you just relax it. The other hand gently pulls and relax. So you got kind of a pumping motion. It's very slow. And relax. Now, what you can do, and this is one of my little tricks I do when my wrist gets kind of sore and it kind of locks up, so I'll pull and then I'll do some rotation.
Oh, so the forearm is rotating. You're not rotating the hand.
Exactly.
The forearm rotates.
This hand is stabilizing the hand.
I could see that. That would work.
And then I'm just rotating the wrist. And that really gets some nice motion.
You know, along with that, I bet you could even just do a little bit of, pushing up and down.
Right, exactly. Yep, you could go up and down this way.
Yep, move it all.
Yep.
And with all these things, if you find one direction that feels really good, that's what you want to keep doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to show the mulligan technique, very similar to this to some extent.
Do you want to have it's a nice little rest.
So what you're going to do is I'm going to take my hand, and the thumb is going to push the bones this way.
Sure.
And my fingers are going to push it the other way, provide a counter force. So I go like this, I push it over, and this is pushing that way, and then I do flexion and extension while I'm doing that.
Oh, yep. Yeah, this is a typical mulligan philosophy.
And I've had this where I felt like my wrist needed to be cracked or there was a kink in it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's where I did that one, and I was like, wow, that felt really good.
you mobilized
I
it.
mobilized it.
There you go.
Again, pain-free. If it
Right.
hurts, you do not do it. Today we're talking about the 5 best wrist, forearm strengthening exercises at home, starting or beginner to advanced. I'm sorry, we didn't change it on the thing. It's beginner to advanced.
Right.
So this is going to be for the person who maybe had surgery and they're beyond range of motion. They're starting to get into the strengthening. Or if you're just really deconditioned, or if you're just the average person, but your arms and wrists are quite weak.
Right. And you don't want to hit it too hard, too fast.
No, because it'll break down.
And you can get wrist pain. So for wrist strengthening, we're assuming that
wrist and forearm.
Wrist, right, exactly. Wrist and forearm, they're all part of the same in my mind, but not for everyone. But we're going to assume you already have normal range of motion. But anyways, we have full pain-free range of motion, but it's weak. Or you just want to get stronger. So again, beginning all the way to the advanced in about 3 or 4 minutes.
And what you should understand is that the muscles of the wrist are actually coming from the forearm.
Right.
So that's why we're strengthening the forearm too when we strengthen the wrist.
Exactly.
So that's where all the action occurs.
You want this, Bob?
Sure.
Now, if you're fairly weak, you're going to...
Here's a 1 pound dumbbell.
Yep.
This is a little bit heavy for me.
If you want something a little more, we got a 10-pound one. So whatever works for you or whatever you have available.
But you can kind of even roll the fingers down a little bit like this and then bring it all the way up.
Which is a really good idea because the fingers and the wrist and the forearm are really one unit. Now we want to make sure we do the other direction too. And you notice how we have our forearms resting on our thigh. Don't do this in the air. You can, but it's much better to isolate if you do it as such. And whoa, you'll find out the extender muscles are typically always quite a bit weaker than your flexors.
Absolutely. These fatigue a lot more rapidly on me than the flexors.
Right.
And are you going to do ulnar?
Yeah, we can do ulnar this direction.
That's radial.
Oh, radio. Yeah, ulnar we can't. It's hard to do.
It's hard to do ulnar unless you probably go like this.
Right. I'm going to skip it. It's not that functional.
That's right.
10 to 15 reps is what I'm going to recommend, and you should get a tired wrist. And when that gets too easy, you either go to a bigger dumbbell or we have whatever's coming up next, which we'll show you.
You can use a soup can too to start off with if you wanted to. It's just a little harder to grab on.
Right, and you're not going to go more than a pound.
Right.
You know, you get one of those industrial commercial 5-gallon soup
you could take
cans.
a milk jug and,
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
So.
All right. The next thing is if you have stretch band. This is a good way, and so this is band. This is pretty much beginner.
I think we call it more of an exercise band.
Sure.
But you can buy these in small lengths, or you can buy them in big rolls. I mean,
you only need a few feet.
It's nice. It gives you resistance throughout.
Right.
You know, and it's a good starter thing. Again, you know, we put it after the weights just because, to me, it gives resistance throughout, and that only gives resistance through the peak points.
Right.
But
either way,
it's common therapy to have this.
It's fairly beginner. Then we're going to go to, the other part that you cannot get with that is rotation, which is really critical for wrist strength. Opening doorknobs, all
very functional.
Very functional.
You run into it in life a lot.
Yep. So what I like to do with my patients, so you don't have to go out and buy something fancy, is you simply, most people have a hammer at home, and you take a hammer, and you put it on the table just like I have here. Again, the forearm flat on the table. We're going to do it like this so you can see what's going on. And then for rotation, you're going to use the weight of the hammer and the length of the handle for leverage. And you just rotate this way and this way. And when it's weak, you can start out here. When that gets,
not nearly as tough.
Right. It's all, the physics of it, the lever arm. And if you can do 10 to 15 reps that way without pain, you're going to go up to here, work it all the way up to here. Now, this is a smaller hammer, and if you have to...
Well, I'll bet you're starting to feel fatigue already, aren't you?
No, Bob, I'm strong.
All right.
But I would probably go to a hammer this size and go to here, or we've got another option that gets even a little more aggressive there.
I guess you could take a sledgehammer and...
Yeah, get the 12-pounder out, which you can also do this. No, if you are in a trades, you're going to want this, particularly if you're swinging a hammer, to strengthen as well. Take the booyah stick, Bob. Whoa.
What are we doing?
We're going to do the same thing. Now, you can take a cane. I've had people do this. Just take a cane.
Oh, sure.
Or a piece of doweling or a broom handle that's a little bit longer, and you do the same thing. Now, if you put your hand right in the middle, if you're going to use something like this, it's not much weight resistance at all. But you're getting some motion, and then if you simply move up a little bit, Bob took the big jump.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can bob in the head. But here you got the same thing, and you're going to do this slow, good control. Again, 10 to 15 repetitions. And you can work it forward. Now, this works a little bit better this direction than the hammer does, actually. You get a little stretch.
It surprises me, Brad. This actually works pretty well.
I know it, Bob. Don't overdo it. Now, Bob, we're going to get into the advanced.
Gotcha.
Now, this is for people who, if you're working with very aggressive grip needed, rock climbers, people in sports, you really want to take the grip strengthener. It has resistance bands, and they're pretty aggressive, but you can start out weak, and you can just use 1 or 2, but you can go up to 4, and I guarantee you, this was invented by a rock climber. I'm going to do mine with just 2 bands, and I'm going to leave 2 loose.
And I'm going to do it all 4.
Now, again, the forearms go on the thighs or the knees. Bob's going to show a little bit different technique.
I'm a little inside here because I'm a little taller.
Right.
I can go up on top, but then when I go on top, then I would probably cut down the number of bands I'm doing too.
Sure.
So
now you want to roll all the way down to your fingers are just so you're almost dropping the handle, but you're going to roll up as far as you can.
And you bring it way up. That's where you really feel the money.
Right. And then if you just spread your feet apart, it gets a little bit more difficult. And if you want to go more, you simply add another band on. That's what I would do. Bob is already there. And again, 10 to 15 reps, get fatigued and relax. If you want to do 3 sets, that's getting pretty aggressive.
I'm going to warn you though, Brad. This wouldn't be somebody if you've had surgery or just starting out.
Right.
Because even 1 band is a fair amount of resistance.
Right.
And it wouldn't be if you have arthritis. I don't think this is going to help you either. It's just too much stress on you. Today we're going to show you 5 simple strengthening exercises for arthritic hands, the fingers and the thumb.
Right.
Because quite often when you have painful hands, you start to avoid using them as much as possible, and then they get weak, and then they get even more painful.
Right. Compounding situation, we need to stop it and reverse it possibly with some movement we're going to show you.
So these are pretty easy exercises. They won't be that hard on you. All right. So you are going to need a little bit of dumbbell or something with a little bit of weight to start off with. I don't know if you could use a hammer. You think you use a hammer?
Well, maybe if you got that in your history, if you were a carpenter, probably a good thing.
So what you're going to do, exercise number 1, you go off the edge of a table. Well, I'm on a stool here.
You think you could go off?
You could go off your knee, absolutely.
Especially if you got
an idea. And you're going to roll the weight down to the end of the fingers. Then you're going to lift it up and squeeze for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Down, up, squeeze for 3 seconds. Now you're going to do 10 of these. You do this only 3 times a week. This whole set of exercises, and it's better to space them out, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Be careful the first few times you do it, especially if your fingers are weak, because we don't want it dropping, and land on your toe.
Next one, you're going to have the same weight. And this time you're going to grab it with all 5 fingers. I usually support the arm like this, Brad.
Oh, sure.
And then lift it up like this. And all you're going to do is hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
So on a tabletop would probably be a nice place to do this.
1, 2, 3. This was a book, and it was researched.
Right.
I mean, they didn't just come up with these willy-nilly. So.
Yeah, there's no willy-nilly here.
Yeah. All right, next one. This could be a little aggressive for some of you too. I mean, you might just start off by going like that without any resistance, but you take a rubber band, just a regular old rubber band, and you're just going to spread your fingers apart like this. Now I'm making the thumb out to the side a little more.
Yeah, sometimes a rubber band, if you go too wide, it pops down to your hand, but that's all right. Just don't go that big, that far.
This one's going to be feeling a lot of people. 10 times on each one of these, by the way. I know I mentioned it once, but I'll mention it again.
That's right.
Now we got one for the thumb itself. You place the thumb down onto a table like this.
That would be actually supination position for the wrist.
And you're going to bring the thumb straight up in line with the first finger. I'll show you it this way.
Yep.
So I'm bringing it straight up like this, straight away from the first finger. we're trying to work a specific muscle on the thumb. And that's a very important muscle for stabilizing that joint. A lot of people have trouble with this joint right here on the thumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very active joint. It rolls in a lot of different ways.
Yep.
So I want you to start off just doing 10 times with no weight.
So if the hand was like this and it went out this way, that would not be right.
Right.
Just go away from that first finger. So that I have to think about that a little bit.
Yeah. And now advanced, you actually would put the rubber band on it and just work the thumb going straight out like that. My thumb curls up when I do that one. I know that, again, this may seem they are simple and they may seem like they are not very difficult, but for some of you, they will be. We're going to go over 5 simple tricks, Brad, for hand pain or finger pain. These work out well for arthritis, or if you have a jammed finger, or if you just have hand pain overall that's unexplained. All right, let's talk about this first, Brad. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're getting full range of motion in all the joints.
Sure.
Especially a painful joint after a while tends to tighten up, and the more a joint tightens up, the more painful it becomes.
Right.
So it's kind of a bad cycle. You want to regain the motion, and a lot of times the pain levels go down.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to show you the motions to do, and if you find out a particular joint that bothers you while you're doing the motions, we got some tricks for those that we're going to show you in the next 3 steps.
Sure.
So try these, note which ones hurt, and then we're going to try these little tricks on those after we do those. So let's start off with number 1, basically finger taps. So you're taking the thumb and you're going to tap it to each finger. So like this, and you're going to open wide open after you do it.
So we're making circles and then open up wide.
Good, and you can go reverse it, come right back down the line. Just a good warm-up one, good stretch. Okay? Next one, Brad, we're going to go ahead and this one's just working kind of the base of the thumb. So you're going to take, and this is a problematic area, by the way, a lot of times in arthritis. You're going to take the thumb and you're going to attach it and touch over to the base of the 5th. Can you get there?
Nope, I cannot get that far, Bob.
Yep, this is a stretch Brad should be doing.
Oh, yeah.
Can you go to the base of this second finger right there?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yes.
I can even do the Spock thing.
There we go, yep. You can throw that one in there. That's the bonus one. So, as you can see, right there, Brad's just demonstrating on film. It can be tight on people, and something you need to work on.
Give it a little stretch.
Yep. Next one, we're going to go ahead and do tabletop.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you have a little trouble on that one too, Brad. And then you can actually go from this one up to the claw if you want to do. You can throw 2 in a row right here. And then you can go ahead and do full flexion. This is where you're flexing, fully flexing all the joints, getting them all going. Okay, so let's say in the instance you found one of your fingers bother you. Let's say it's this joint here. I'm going to show it on the spine here first, on Sam the skeleton. So let's say we're looking at this joint right here. So you have a bone above it, and below it. And that forms the joint right there. So the technique you're going to try, it's a little tricky. You're going to push one of the bones this way, and you're going to push one of the bones this way. Now, let's say it's my joint right here. I shouldn't use the middle finger, should I?
You can use, that would be the 3rd digit.
All right, well, 4th, actually, in our lingo. So I'm pushing with my thumb, I'm pushing the bone this way, and with my finger, I'm pushing it this way. So I'm going opposite directions. I'm pushing them, and as I push them, I'm going to bend the finger. Now, if that hurts or hurts worse, then you do the opposite. You're going to put your finger on top, right here, and below here, and now I'm going to push this way, and I'm going to go that way and go, oh, that feels better. So anyway, you can have somebody help you with this. Somebody could actually push the bones for you. But again, it works out. I've done this before on jammed fingers for me. I pushed one this way and one this way. It didn't work. I reverse it and try it. And, one of them feels good, generally always for me.
If it doesn't, if it hurts both ways, just stop doing it.
You don't do it.
Right.
Yep. The next thing you could try is a simple one. You can try a little bit of traction.
Yep.
Just do a little traction and even bend it while you're doing a little traction.
Sure.
And then the last thing you could try is actually, you could what we call block the joint. So let's say I'm working on this joint right here. I can put my thumb right below it and I can block the movement from there. And so I'm working just right on that joint per se, and see if you can get that loose. Now let's say I want to work on this joint below. I'm going to go ahead and just go right, I'm blocking right below. I'm squeezing on both sides. I'm holding the bone below on both sides. And if these are all still hurting quite a bit when you do these, I would recommend you maybe try some modalities. I'm going to show you one that you'd have to purchase actually, and then we're going to show you one you can do at home without having to purchase anything. We like the Thermatex. This is infrared heat. The reason we like it is because normal heat only penetrates a few millimeters.
Nice job
Infrared
with
will
that.
actually penetrate 2.36 inches. And if you make it into a muff here, basically, it's actually going to go 4.72 inches, which in other words, it's going to go all the way through the finger joints.
Right.
And so, in addition to using this for anything else that you might have, back pain or knee pain or hip pain,
Right.
Brad and I use it nightly on our backs.
Okay, now the other one, if we got people out there that are working in industry, or if you're a construction worker, really working with your hands, this is a great thing to use. Get a gallon of
What the heck you got there, Brad?
1 gallon jug of milk.
Okay.
Empty the milk. Put some water in it for weight.
Depending on how much you want to work.
Get some rope, some twine, whatever, from the hardware store for 8.19 cents a foot, or you may have some laying around the house. PVC pipe. This is 2-inch diameter. You can use 1 inch, 1.5. 2 inch seems to work really well. Anything close to that is fine. Drill a hole right in the middle of it. Then you're going to take that rope and thread it through the hole. Get it out the bottom, like this. There we go. And simply tie a knot in there.
Nice.
And there we go. Now you're going to wonder, what are we going to do with this? Well,
This is work.
yep.
This is
So,
a little more advanced, wouldn't you say, Brad?
yeah, I'm going to lift, and you can vary the weight by how much water you put in the jug. Up like this, and then back down. This actually works concentric and eccentrically on the wrist muscles, which is a wonderful way to strengthen. Okay, now if you look at it from the side, there you go. And you may want to bring it in closer to your body, because my shoulders are getting pretty tired out there. Elbows in.
Right, again, you want to isolate more just the wrist,
Exactly.
otherwise you're working the shoulder.
And you could do this if you have a taller table. Oops, excuse me. Hope no one got hurt back there. And then you can do it this way. Up this way, and back down this way. But if your shoulders are strong, this is fine.
Okay, today, Brad, we want to talk about the 10 best neck, arm, trunk stretches in a seated position. Right. Yeah, just kind of a good overall fitness for the upper body, right?
Right, and this is a kind of thing that we've got a lot more people that are older views, not old, but 60s, 70s, 80s, yeah, they might have some gray hair like me, and they sit a lot, and they may not be comfortable doing exercises standing, they lose their balance, that kind of thing, or we got a lot of people that sit in a desk all day long at a computer, and they're kind of tied there for whatever reason, not physically, but, they need to stay there.
Yeah, movement is really important throughout the day. That's the key.
Yeah, if you're tired of that computer and you're stuck and you're starting to get these pains here or down the thoracic area in the back, you need to get things loosened up a little bit. I like this one. If you're working at a desk or you're sitting stationary, this is a nice one because you have stress built up in these upper traps a lot of times. This will help loosen that up. I mean, I can already feel the circulation.
Going forward and back then?
Yeah, I'll mix it up. But if you want to go forward, 5 or 10 rounds, and then make sure you go opposite direction. And when you go backwards, Bob, show that whole squeezing the shoulder blades together.
So trying to get those blades
See that
together.
wrinkle there? That's, you think about that blades coming together. That's key on this one. Now this one they might stare and point a little bit, but for arm motion, all like you're going to do rollers. So here, and again, exaggerate the elbows coming back way behind. Don't shorten them up, get the full range of motion. Now this is a nice one too. Reach across, grab the elbow, and just give it a gentle stretch. If you get pain with this, sometimes people get a little impinged, but if it hurts a sharp pain, you can avoid it or don't pull so hard. In my case, I found that this used to hurt, and I worked it some more, and the pain went away, and now I've got better range of motion. The next one, trunk rotations. This is where it's nice to have some armrest, Bob, because you can go like this. Go ahead and show them. Grab the
This is
armrest.
where it's really going to be important that you have good posture.
Yeah.
I really don't want you going like this and then working on trunk rotation. You want to be chest out and stretch it in really good.
This is a nice one to get the breathing better. functionally in the car, if you can't see behind you very well, it's going to help that. If you are having problems and maybe you have some thoracic bone issues and you're not able to get up as tall as you can, and this is as tall as you get, that's okay. Do the best you can. Okay. Reach up to one side. If you got the motion in your arm, you're going to reach up and lean to get a stretch here. You know, some people are going to reach way over and fine. If you've got a shoulder problem, do whatever you can. Don't irritate your shoulder to do this. You can do it like this. But make sure you do both sides. You can do it alternating, or you can just go one side, do your 5 repetitions. Yep. And another big thing about doing these stretches is breathe and relax. Should be relaxed. Stretch much better. Okay, arm circles. Okay, we're just going to go back and forth like this.
They're not circles, Brad.
Yeah. Arm cross.
Okay.
This is a simple one. Palms up, palms down. High as you can go, down as far as you go, and just work that back and forth.
Gotcha.
Next one, close the fists. This is easy. Open them up as wide as you can. So you're going to open and close 10 or 15 times. Then we're going to carry on and get a little more aggressive with the wrist and the hand, and we're going to stretch backwards. Now, like Bob has his elbow straight, and then he pulls back. You can do it that way. If you like to keep your elbow in, you can do it that way. I like to do it like this and like this, but this is quite a bit more aggressive.
After cast removed from hand and wrist, these are the best 5 stretches for success.
The first thing is, let's get the fingers first.
Sure.
If your fingers are tight and you cannot extend them, so extending is going up and back.
Straightening.
Yep.
Basically straightening.
There you go. So you want to work each finger individually, and actually you may work each joint, if you can see that. I'm not going to go through every finger because they all have the same number of joints, but you try to get each joint and each finger at least to neutral, which is straight.
Right.
You know, and this may take a week or may take even longer than that, or it may come sooner. But you want to work each finger so they can get it straight. And then the thumb's a little bit different. It has one less joint. So you work here, and then you work here. And this is pretty important for the thumb. This right here. So make sure you get that. And then the wrist. You're going to want to get the wrist moving.
Sure.
It's nice to put it on a table.
You go off the edge.
Yep. And then don't worry about the fingers and do the wrist as you can.
So he's going into flexion
This
and
way.
also stretching into extension.
Right. Yep.
And the extension is critically important,
Right.
really. I mean,
Yep.
if you're going to grip things again, you need to have full extension.
Yep. And it'll work both ways. Hopefully it all comes. It depends on your injury. If it was at a wrist, hand. What I found is the next step I always used to do is put people on a table and then kind of see if they can flatten out this way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're too tight, that's too much too soon. It just didn't work for this gentleman
Sure.
at all. So we took something soft. You can use a flat ball that's kind of flat.
Sure.
Put it on there so it kind of naturally goes around there. And then you push like right in your middle knuckle with the other hand and see how
Go
that...
from the side, Brad.
Yeah.
So you can see it gradually pushes into extension as
Right.
opposed to how abruptly you are on a hard surface.
Right.
So this is kind of a neat idea, using a soft surface to help stretch the...
It has give, so you can actually do mobilizations. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I can
And
see
the
how that would
fingers
work out
sink
really
in.
good.
If you don't have that, you could use a pillow like this. We've got our
Flip
day
it this
pillow
way so
there.
you can see what you're doing.
There we go. We'll put it on here. And you do the same thing. The pillow gives it so it's not so aggressive and it's a little more tolerating. And you're going to work that until you can get down to a firm surface.
So I could see this actually even, after someone who's had a stroke.
Sure.
And they have a spastic hand and they're going into flexion. That would be a great way to gradually get into extension that way too.
Exactly.
So.
Yep, this is not just for Cass.
No,
Cass
it's
is nowhere else.
anybody who's really got a tight hand, I would say,
Sure.
and if they're allowed to stretch, go ahead and do this.
And of course, while you're doing this, you're going to work some active range of motion. But the next one is something that particularly the layperson probably would not
Be aware of.
Is the joints here, the metacarpal phalange joints,
MC,
the knuckles here that make the fist.
the big knuckles.
Yep. Between these bones, there should be movement. Now I'm going to put this down. This is why I have the red on my hand. I'm going to try and stabilize this knuckle by putting it right on the edge of this table or
the
cupboard.
table's holding it.
Yep. And now I'm going to put a little weight through there. Now this knuckle I'm going to grab with a pincer grip right there, and I'm going to move it up and down. Now you should be able to see, hopefully, that there's movement. This joint is moving. This one is stabilized the best I can get it.
Yeah, it's moving a little bit, but you can see the great amount of movement is happening where you got your thumb,
right,
where you're pushing.
So you do that joint, then you slide over.
And then you get the next joint.
Get the next one over, and get the last one. That one I can feel the most movement
now
on.
you could go to the other side of the table.
Sure, yeah, we could go over here.
And then work it that way too. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
that makes a little more sense.
You got to reach over your body. It's a little bit. But you'll feel the movement there.
Yep.
And there should be that there. And that helps you with your full total grip.
And that's where the joint tightness occurs, you know, in the joint itself.
Sure.
There's a capsule, a tight capsule. And so that's where if you can move the individual joints, you're going to get better motion overall.
Right. And, of course, the thumb. Do not forget the thumb. That's a little easier. You can grab it here and get that moving. The opposing thumb, that's responsible for all your grip and whatnot. So make sure you get those joints as much range of motion as you can. And then the last thing, it's not the complete last thing, but one thing you want to get into is functional practice. Easy things first. Fine motor, like playing cards, you know.
Sure.
Once you can start gripping and touching here, you want to be able to coordinate things. There may be some numbness, some tingling, scar tissue healing, nerves that are healing up. Play cards. You can wash dishes, get them in some warm water.
And we're going to talk about arthritis relief exercise program for arms. And it's going to be done in the seated position. And it's just something you could do once or twice a day just to keep the joints moving.
Sure.
You want to make sure you're catching all of them.
Exactly right, Bob.
So the key to arthritis relief is one, joint protection. You want to make sure you're not putting too much stress on the joints.
Yeah.
And the second thing is you want movement. You think they hurt, so you don't want to move them.
Right.
But by moving them, you're increasing blood flow, you're increasing the synovial fluid, which is kind of the oil of the joint.
Right.
Start, Brad. We're going to do 5 times each joint.
Yep. Okay.
And we'll start with the hands. So we're going to do the tabletop.
Ah, the infamous tabletop.
And then we're going to go to the claw.
Mm-hmm.
Tabletop, claw. All right. How about a full fist and extension?
So open the palms
Full
up.
fist, extension. All right. Now touch each finger with the thumb. You can go reverse it if you want.
So
that'll count as a one.
How many repetitions are all these?
5. All right. We're going to go to the arms. All right. This won't take long when you do them all in a row like this.
Right.
So, just shoulder flexion. We're going all the way up.
Breathe.
Yep. Now you might want to take your hands.
Sure.
And clasp them because one of them might not go as far as the other, and you can have that one help.
You bet.
The straggler.
Job.
How about internal rotation?
Oh, yeah.
External rotation. All right. Forearm pronation and supination. So what you're doing is you're opening the palms. You're going palm down. Palm up. Palm down. Wrist flexion and extension. So you're going to bend down, up. You can even go off your legs if you want to.
Yep.
Like this,
there
give
we
yourself
go.
a little bit of support.
Mm-hmm.
Get those wrists moving. And then radial and ulnar deviation. So you're going like your radial is this way and ulnar is this way.
Yeah,
So
or just think to the pinkies, to the thumbs. Kind of like a windshield wiper.
So again, when you get this down, you can do it in 5 minutes. And then if you want to throw in the legs too, you can throw that in.
Yep.
With 10 minutes, you got all the joints moving and you're ready for your day.
Yep.
Today, we're going to talk about hand and finger fitness to stop pain and stiffness after surgery, or if you just plain have arthritis.
There you go.
So these are things that unfortunately plague a lot of people.
Right. Particularly, the arthritis. Kind of like getting gray hairs as you get older for a lot of people.
It tends to be part of life, unfortunately. And it's really important to understand that actually movement is good for arthritis.
Sure.
The more you get the synovial fluid moving, the more you get the blood flowing, the better it is.
Right.
The only exception I would say is if the arthritis gets so bad that you just don't even want to move the joint. And that's pretty far along. Maybe a rheumatoid arthritis generally, but
it's pretty severe, and you probably know it by then.
Yeah.
So the first thing you do, when you got that where you can't make the fist and their wrist is stiff, and if you push it. It becomes painful and just like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you want to work in the range that it allows you.
Yep. So it's simply, and actually we're going to start, we call it proximal and go distal in the therapy world. So we're going to actually start in the wrist. Don't worry about the fingers first. Get the wrist moving first.
And you're doing this right away in the morning in bed, right?
In bed, before you get out of bed.
Yep.
Yep. Work that back and forth. You can do both hands at once.
So this is flexion and extension of the wrist.
Right. I'm just going to show you one. And, do that the best you can. And then you go ulnar and radial deviation.
Yep.
And work that direction. And then you can throw some circles in there, clockwise and counterclockwise. Usually about 10 repetitions of all these will be fine. Then you get that wrist moving. Then you go to the fingers. And just a simple close the fist as tight
as much as it'll allow.
Right.
Comfortably.
Yep. You can push it a little bit, then open it, and then close it, and just work it. And typically, the first time you close, maybe get to here, but after about 10 of them, you'll notice it gets a little bit better. But don't worry about getting it all the way tight. That's all I want you to do. Then forget about it, get out of bed, carry on with your activities of daily living for the next 30 minutes or so, and then come back and do the same exercises again, work your range of motion. And if they're a little tight, now this time you can actually push a little bit and go to the end range because we want to get that. Do your ulnar and radial deviation.
Yeah, because over time, if you don't stretch it a little bit, you may start to lose the motion, and then it gets worse.
Yep.
So you want to maintain the motion.
And it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but you don't have to push it into sharp pain, but just
you can bump into the pain. You can bump into it.
And again, 10 repetitions each way. And then the fists here.
Sure.
And hopefully by now you've got a little more range and then you can get in. And what I do is I have my patients do as well as with myself. I just go over the top and I'll give a full gentle squeeze to see if you can get a full fist. You may or you may not, but more than likely you're going to get more than you did initially in bed. And then when you open it, you just go palm to palm and you can go this way and this way the best you can. If your fingers are so stiff, you're still at this. You haven't created the flat, palm to palm. You do the best you can and work it back and forth.
Yeah, that's a great stretch to get all of them at once. I might recommend too, Brad, that you might, if you want to work the thumb a little more.
Sure, you bet.
You could go to each finger.
Yep.
And touch like that and then reverse.
Then the next thing, you want to keep the muscles strong and do something like that. So after those first exercises later in the day, this is what I recommend and works out well for most people is a ball that's got one of these squishy ones where can you go into that? It's got the gel inside and you can work it. I like it because you can work each individual finger. If you have one finger that's more stiff or weaker than the other, you can kind of
it's really flexible. You can get them all. You can work one at a time. Yep. And if you have too big a ball, you're not getting weight down into those intrinsics.
Now this ball works okay, but it's a little bit firm. It's not quite soft, but it depends on the individual. These are just balls that I buy at Walgreens or one of the big box stores. You can go online. You can buy them all over the place, and you can get them for a few dollars a piece. You don't have to get the therapeutic expensive ones, although you can if you'd like to. So
we're going to mention maybe just one modality, Brad. So like if you wanted to, just a simple way to make your hands feel better with arthritis is called contrast baths.
Right. So
if you have two sinks, you fill up one with water pretty warm to the point where you still can tolerate it, but it's about as hot as you can tolerate without burning yourself.
Sure.
And then the other one is completely cold water. Right. And you start off and you put your hands in the hot water for like 5 minutes, and then you go and put it in the cold water for 1 minute. And then it's back and forth for 1 minute after that. You start with 5, then you go 1, 1, 1, 1.
For how long?
Well, you can do it for however long. I know 10 minutes or.
So you're going to go back and forth 3 to 5 times or so.
Yeah. But I don't think there's any magic number how many times you go back and forth. But work your hands while you're doing it. And Brad's going to show you just one strengthening exercise for your shoulder rotator cuff muscles. This one's one that you can often start fairly soon. And it's fairly easy to do.
Right. So the movement is this. It strengthens your external rotator cuff muscle, this is kind of like the go-to strengthening exercise or you'll start with. And if you have anything elastic or an elastic stretch band, this happens to be one of the loop. You don't need a loop one, but you're just going to get this motion. The elbow needs to stay close to the body, and then we're just going to start. And I'm just going to hold with the other hand and go out like this. But on this, I have a lot of people with rotator cuff problems. Is they get to a certain point and then it starts to hurt, and then come back in. So you don't go past the pain. You go up to the pain and do 10 of those. And day after day, with any luck at all, you're going to find that you can go farther and farther out, because the other arm will show you that the normal range and the sore one typically does not go as far. And then they'll equal out and get stronger.
Yeah, if it for some reason makes it really sore after you do this, then you got to back off.
Exactly right.
Know what you're doing. So they were to show you how to use a massage gun for forearm, wrist, and hand pain. This is good for overuse syndrome. If you're a gamer or use your computer a lot, you're using those hand and wrist muscles a ton.
Golfer's elbow?
Golfer's, tennis elbow.
Sure.
For all these. So why don't we first start off, Brad, going on, let's say, some of the flexor muscles here and the extensor muscles. Why don't we, I think there's really two good ones for that. Is one, it would be the air-filled head.
Right. So we're talking about the head itself. It actually is cushy. I've got a little air in it, and it's not so aggressive. It's a nice option we use a lot.
Why don't you start showing that? I'm going to grab a pointer one, too,
Yeah.
because the pointer would be good for trigger points.
Sure.
Or for knots, as the layperson calls them.
Right. So, again, the muscles are here. The tendons go up to the fingers here, but they also connect back in here when you connect to the epicondylitis, or
Epicondyle, yeah.
I'm sorry. But here we go. I'm demonstrating if you can see that. And usually you stay over the muscle belly. You're not going to go up on the wrist probably. You got that nerve, the median nerve running through there. It's pretty superficial, so we're going to stay away from that.
I don't see it on the diagram here, but yeah. And you can go across the fibers. So you can go across like this, back and forth this way, or you can also go the length of the fibers.
Yep.
Either one will work. It'll get
Ooh.
different areas. So now he's doing the extensor muscles. Now, if he does find a spot that is a trigger point, which is quite often you'll find like one right about there.
Yep, exactly.
Then you might try the pointer one. I think this might be this one, Brad. I don't know if do they have
Oh,
the same
yes.
ones?
Yep, there's definitely a pointer on this one.
Okay. All right. So I got the pointer one now. So with that, when I hit the spot, if I find a trigger point, I'm actually going to relax the arm, and I'm going to find that spot, and I'm going to actually hold it right over that spot. Boy, I can feel that, Brad.
Yeah. You can vary the intensity also by the angle.
Sure. You can go like this and decrease it, but
Whatever works for you.
again, this is something you can do a couple times a day, and it's a treat, and you can actually do it during a break, and it'll let your arms be ready for the next part of the day. If that's too aggressive for you, you can put the air-filled one on there.
Yep.
And the air-filled, you can actually take that, Brad, all the way through the hand.
Right.
You can even go through the fingers. I mean,
Ooh.
now it will not work on the back of your hand, these things, because there's just not enough skin.
Well, there's
and
no muscle there anyway.
right?
It's all tendon and bone, and it's. I mean, the air one you could do there, but it's not going to do any
It
good.
doesn't feel good. Even.
No, it's.
Fun, Brad. I'm going to show for a specific problem here now. Some of you may get what is called deeper veins tenosynovitis.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here, and I can show you what I mean. Now you can see here, this is actually the thumb, and these are two muscles that come down, and they form what is called the anatomical snuff box. They're the ones close to the thumb.
Right there.
There's one there, but there's two.
Oh, you've
there's
got
two
a
here.
good snuff box.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike, see that okay? So it's very common with overuse syndrome to overuse these tendons. They get quite sore. Now you can take do you want to show the ball one, Brad? And how you can go sideways on it?
Oh, yeah, that's for the cross friction.
For the cross friction,
Yep.
right.
Oops.
So he's going to go right across these tendons as they hit right here. They come together, and he's going to apply some massage to that.
I could use a small. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to go like this.
So he
Not
is-
like
yeah.
this. That's way too aggressive. But you can work it this way. Get my pillow back
Yeah, again,
here.
you want to be relaxed.
Yep. There.
Now, if that is too much, if you cannot tolerate that, you can actually start by just doing this. You can actually put your hand right on those tendons, your thumb, I should say, right on the tendons, and just work on going like this, extending it up like this, and
Sure.
it's just a start. You know, again, all of these, we don't want increased pain, especially after you've done it a few times.
Right.
You know, if
Right.
it starts, and then it's just too flared up, and we have to back off. Start with the lowest speed.
Sure.
Because you don't know how you're going to tolerate this.
Yep.
You know, you might get a little sore from this, and you can always bump up more the next day. Just show Brad what you did and what helped take yours away.
Right. So this is mine right here. So I would massage here with my thumb. Take my fingers on the back side and here, and I'd work it across. Okay, and I'd work it up and down, and then once I got in there and massage it, getting that knot, so you just, so to speak, to loosen up, then I would do range of motion with it, and I keep pressure on there.
The entire time.
Yep, and it was amazing. I thought, for me, didn't take a lot of time to make it easier. You got to do it a few days in a row, but you know,
And it shouldn't make your pain worse.
no,
really.
no, you'll feel it more than likely. You're going to feel it improve. If it's all flared up and really swollen for whatever reason, then if it is painful,
Then you
and
got to back off.
yeah, it doesn't improve after doing this for a minute or two, you got to give it a break. And you can work your range of motion. When it triggers, it goes clunk over that clunk. You could try to work it through there, but eventually you want to get that massage in there. And as mine improved and I could do this, well, my thumb would get tired and sore. So then it's like I don't want to have trigger finger on both hands.
You get trigger finger on your thumb too.
So I was using actually both of these. I started out with the soft head.
That's an air-filled head.
Yep.
That's pretty. It's probably the least aggressive head.
All right. This would be a good sized gun to use on it. I don't have this one at home, and I use this one, and it works okay. You just have to be a little less aggressive. But this one's pretty darn strong. So, you know, and I would work it like this, and then I would do the range of motion. But the gun gets in the way when it gets straight in, so if you go sideways and you're working it, and actually...
And that's where this one works the best, probably.
Yep, here, you want to turn
Yeah.
that off. And I would work it in this way, crosswise, and then I could work that range of motion with it. You know, if
that
you don't
works
have
out
a
quite
massage gun, I would, because I did a lot of mine without the massage gun. The massage gun just takes the work away from the other hand. I would not buy a massage gun just for
this.
trigger finger.
Right.
Because, you know, unless you're going to use it on the rest of your body, which if you buy one, you will.
Right.
And you'll be happy with it for the most part.